Recording, alhamdulillah. It's recording,
Alhamdulillah.
and we just went live into it, 8 seconds. And Assalamu alaikum, Brother Abdul Shakur, Imam. How are you, sir?
Alhamdulillah, brother. Juma Mubarak, Ramadan
Juma
Mubarak.
Mubarak and Ramadan Mubarak to you as well, alhamdulillah.
Imam, so I have a question about the khutbah. It's a beautiful khutbah, and the first question I would like to ask is, what inspired you to choose the topic, the name of the khutbah? Can you just elaborate on that?
Yeah, because I was really debating between two different topics. I'm glad you asked that question. It's a good question. I was debating between two different topics. One of them was, of course, I wanted to expound upon the meaning of Ramadan, and then, you know, looking at the character of Muslims, you know, and looking at the word best, which is khair in Arabic, khair.
Yes.
And so I just combined, Ramadan, you know, uh, and the best of the Muslims and the best of the Muslim Ramadan and the best of the Muslims. So I just congeal both of those topics together. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. And there was a part of the khutbah where you drew our attention to the home life, the life at home,
Yes.
with our wives and whatnot.
Yes.
And you mentioned that it'd be best to start with Quran
Yes.
and then tend to others.
Yes.
Can you get a little bit
Yeah,
into
we
that
were
for
doing
us?
with we were dealing
Inshallah.
with a priority list. We have priority lists and to do lists and this, and so you
Right.
ask yourself the question. Okay, so what is priority? Is my wife and family more priority? And of course they're important, and vice versa. My wife may say, "Well, I need to, spend a little time talking to my husband. We study the Quran together, this and that." But what is above all of that? It is learning the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when Allah speaks, and when we hear the Quran, when Allah speaks, then that's priority. And then his speech becomes rules, regulations, guidelines, So I said that the priority is to make sure we have ourselves right with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we're right with Allah and His word in the Quran, then we can make our relationship with our zawj and our family members even more smoother because we have checked with the word, the very speech of God, and we, in a sense, put ourselves on that path. And that's the Sirat al-Mustaqim, by the way.
Alhamdulillah. So to put Allah first is not any strike against our families. Actually, be better for our families.
Absolutely. That's the point. That's the point. That's the capsule form of what we just said is that we put Allah first, we please Allah first, and then see how He wants us to please our families and our relatives and our fellow citizens in these United States of America. You know.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, Imam. It's very good to hear that because a lot of times that can be misunderstood if not explained.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You know,
Yeah, it can develop an attitude. It can have an attitude. People, for some reason, may have an attitude because of your relationship with the Quran. If your relationship with the Quran seems like it's interfering with your relationship with your wife and with your family, they shouldn't look at it like that.
It'll enhance.
Yeah, it will enhance the relationship altogether. Alhamdulillah. And I remember uh, my Imam Wardari Muhammad, he said the first engagement of a true Muslim is with his Lord. To be engaged to Allah first, in the sense that we are interacting with Him and His message by praying to Him, etc., correctly, and with the message that He has told us to pray to Him with. We can't even create our own words that we want to say in our Fard Salat. We have to use the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah designed those words to be addressed to Him.
Best speech is
Yeah, yeah. So He gave us the directions in the Quran on how to address Him. So He uses His own speech and gives it to Muhammad and gives it to us to say, okay, you want to address me formally?
Right.
Use this holy book, use this Quran, and you'll communicate. These are the keys to get to me.
Alhamdulillah. So we have
Alhamdulillah.
the keys.
Yeah,
You
we have
provided.
the keys.
And another, you mentioned this in Arabiya, you explained some of it. I just want to revisit this, inshallah.
Mm-hmm.
The best of you are those who learn the Quran and teach it.
That's nice.
And you also got into the fact that we can't just learn Quran by learning the sounds of it,
Right.
learning the words,
Good
and
point.
being what you call it, like, a parrot.
Right.
And this is very important
Yeah.
because the children that go to Islamic school, alhamdulillah, they learn Quran,
Mm-hmm.
they know the sounds and everything,
Yes.
but do they understand what they're saying?
And this is where a great number of our people, but perhaps the children will get it when they reach the age of puberty. Start getting it when they reach what is called in Arabic balagha. Balagh means you reach the point of accountability. We talked about this in the khutbah before. And so, so that hadith was خيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلمه. This is one of the first hadith that my Imam Qasim Ahmed taught me in Islamic studies.
Yes,
Was
sir.
he prioritized the Quran. We're in the month of Ramadan right now. It's Quran. So how do we balance that? Because a lot of times people say, well, he's in this silo of Quran. He's Quran. He's Quranic man, and they try to, put you in this, give you this picture like you trying to be all holy or holier than anybody else and this and no, that's Quran is part of our life and our lifestyle. That's what we do, in other words. You know what I'm saying? So, but we should see the connection between our interaction with the Quran and how we interact with our families. See, there's a connection there. There should be no break.
Right.
You see, because the Quran is the priority over the family. You see, it is what governs the family. So who's speaking in the Quran? Allah is speaking in it. Isn't He our creator?
Yes.
Yeah. So He's continuing to create and make us and evolve us by us touching base with His message that He gave to our Prophet Muhammad. So we become better human beings.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. So it's not a fantasy. It's not a fantasy.
Yes,
This
sir.
is the real deal.
Yes,
Alhamdulillah.
sir.
So thank you all for having us. This is like an after Ramadan interview with your brother and friend Imam Hatim Hamidullah. Yes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.